This sculpture represents Diana. We are now in the Portico Gallery at the mansion on 1 East 17th Street, which is where Diana has been living for a little more than a decade. She's looking out onto the garden of Fifth Avenue at the mansion. She's also standing beside Central Park. So she's really in her natural environment in a way. In the Greek and Roman mythology, Diana is the goddess of hunting because, like her twin brother Apollo, she's very skilled with the bow. And she's also the goddess of wildlife more broadly, and most importantly, the moon. This particular version of Diana was modeled by one of the most important French sculptors of the 18th century, Jean-Antoine Houdon, and she's the only terracotta version of this cohort of Dianas that Houdon made. There are bronze and marble versions in many other museums, but this is really the only one that survives in this incredibly fragile medium, which really makes it so special and so exceptional. Because it's terracotta, technically she has to be made of 10 different sections that were fired separately and then put together on a metal armature. The fact of sculpting something of this size in terracotta is in itself a technical wonder. The fact that she's then resting on the tiptoes of her left foot alone, all the weight of the sculpture is resting on that one single point, makes the sculpture incredibly fragile, which makes the survival of this Diana, of this version, so exceptional. The sculpture came to the Frick from the dealer Dveen, who was one of the greatest art dealers of the early 20th century, who had kept it in storage for many years. During those years, in fact, he had commissioned one of the great sculpture photographers of the early 20th century, Clarence Kennedy, to take wonderful pictures of it, and we still have a whole album of photographs that were taken at the time by Kennedy. It came to us in 1939, and when it did, it was actually installed in the Oval Room. And we still have photos and plans for her installation in the room. It was only moved in 1942 during World War II for safety reasons. It was removed to the vault. So because the sculpture is so fragile, it really couldn't move during the renovation of the spaces here at 1 East 17th Street, which is why our conservation team and art handlers created this box where she was crated for a little more than 4 years and where she lived for 4 years under close observation, and there was a vibration monitor on the top of her head to make sure that she was not put in any kind of danger during the renovation. Recently, she was unboxed by our conservation team. It's like when you set a creature that has been caged for so long free. I have the same feeling about this. Almost like at night she could, venture out unseen into the wildlife of Central Park and the Fifth Avenue garden here at the Frick. Diana has really been sort of the secret testimony of what was happening here in the Portico for many years. And now she's witnessing the reinstallation of the porcelain gallery with the Meissen porcelain from the collection of Henry Arnold. It's a very special place here at the Frick, overlooking the fabulous garden with the magnolias on Fifth Avenue. And I think she's ready to witness them blooming again and the reopening of the Frick.